Good evening and welcome once again to the TryPod, and this week we shall preview round 22.
Lego!
Lego!
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here, nigga.
Oh shit! All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. All right, welcome once again.
We'll edit it out later.
We'll edit it out. That'll be fine. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. When it rains, it pours, eh? Some more exciting news.
We have the most exciting news. And once again, can we just stress, we started from the bottom, doing a pod for 3 or 4 guys, doing random college sports, NBA, NFL, just for our mates, and we've grown. And now we're here. Ladbroke sponsored us last week.
The sky's the limit.
More news for you this week.
We're excited to announce our partnership with Ladbrokes. As we said, it was in the works. I've let you kind of do the wheeling and dealing. We ever since that shout out on Nova, we've been contacted by actually multiple betting agencies. And yeah, I figure you've got a lot more experience kind of doing deals.
Yeah, well, I am a salesman.
You're in real estate as well.
I've been wheeling and dealing, and as we said last week, Ladbrokes did offer us a better deal to be exclusive, and as we said, we give the people what they want.
Yeah, we're not about that.
We have stressed all along that you need to have multiple betting sites in order to make some decent money out of this business that is sports betting. So I checked my inbox a few days ago. Obviously, been speaking to Ladbrokes for a few days now, and what do I see? Another message.
Yeah, and I mean, we can get you some awesome deals on Ladbrokes. They do give out just about free money every week. There's some exclusive stuff on there, but we've always said, you don't have to be exclusive.
Nope.
Especially when there's too many other good things out there. Well, and that's what we want to stress.
Yeah, no,
to
absolutely.
The fans.
Absolutely. Is that how you've been playing it lately?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
Is that the reason?
Anything.
Is that the reason? Yeah, the sole reason.
Do you want to play the ad?
Yep.
Let's go.
Here we go. Our new sponsor.
Download the app or go to William Hill on your mobile. William Hill, the home of betting.
Volini.
Yeah, that's right. The home of betting. So now, and William Hill, as we mentioned on last week's pod, they were kind enough to invite us to their corporate box at Suncorp Stadium.
The Broncos game, yeah.
That was an enjoyable afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a great time in the box there, didn't you? Because we got invited to the TryPod, and I was actually busy that weekend. I was away, so I told Jacob just go for it. Take whoever you want. And do you regret who you took, or
well,
happy with that decision?
we made some good connections and some not so good connections on that day.
Yeah.
But
that wasn't the only box you were in that night, or it was?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, William Hill, another site that's offering awesome promotions. We can get you $500 match deposit straight away. Now, William Hill, of course, owns Tom Waterhouse, Centrebet, and the former Sporting Bet. So I think this is. I'm so excited.
And we've got all 3 of those sites. Obviously, we've got multiple sites. But the good thing about having all 3 of those is when they have those promotions, like William Hill has the premium price ones, which, last week, they were giving $2 on the Broncos to win. Obviously, that didn't eventuate, but still, they give out really good promos. And every time they have one of those premium price ones, every single one of those 3 sites has it. So instead of putting $25 on, you can put 75 essentially.
Yeah, and you
take
can
on Tom and
you
the
can double your
Centrebet
money on
Powerbet.
something that's going to win, 90% of the time.
Yep.
And we've said before, this is why we wanted to stay exclusive, to not be exclusive, to keep our options open, because that's our mantra. Is you got to shop around.
Definitely.
And find the best price, find the best lines, and get the best promotions.
Absolutely.
And that's what we can get you guys. So look out for the link. It'll be on our page.
Yeah, we're going
to get the best deals with these guys.
Yeah, to make it easy for you guys, we're just going to pop a post up at the top of the page. It's going to have all of the sign-up links, the exclusive TryPod sign-up links. They're going to have the codes embedded in them to get you the best possible bonus that you can when you sign up. And that's another thing that we've said, to make yourself a little bit more money. When they have these promos, $500 match deposit, $200 match deposit, you don't want to be chucking $20 in there. You're gonna, you lose your 20, then you deposit another 20, but you don't get anything on top of that.
No.
And you want to really make the most of those deposit bonuses.
Make them pay.
Make them pay.
Make them pay up.
Yeah, they are the enemy.
I heard a few people say, "Oh, you guys lost so many best bets a couple weeks ago. It's because you're sponsored by Ladbrokes. You're doing it on purpose, trying to win them more money." but that's not the case. We
No.
were here for the people. We honestly, that week hurt us as much as it hurt anybody else.
Definitely.
Because we really do play our own plays. We believe in our own plays.
Yep.
And we believe in the system. And last week,
Bam.
we're back.
We are back.
We're giving people something back.
Back with a vengeance. 6 out of 7.
And that's after the horror start that was the Tri-Fest. Points galore in the Dogs Roosters game.
It was over by half time.
Yeah,
7
we,
tries.
we had under
at
7
halftime.
tries, and there already were 7 in the first half. Try off everything.
Yep.
Crazy backline plays off kicks. So didn't look good.
Nope.
But
We
we
grinded
didn't,
it
we
out.
didn't lose face the Tigers.
Yep.
Pulled it back with a couple best bets. We believed in the Tigers. We told you the Storm.
We've believed in
are
the
not
Tigers
real
all
deal,
year.
and they finally repaid the faith.
Finally did. Thank
What else did
God.
we win on the Saturday? We won under the total tries in Warriors Sharks. You were
Yes.
dead right about that. You talked me into that one.
Yep.
It was an arm wrestle. It was 2 teams trying to make the 8. It was the Warriors trying to gut it out without Johnson and falling short in
Yep.
the end.
Panthers Souths Grindfest. We saw that one coming. Souths under 5.5 tries. They only got 3.
Yep.
And game tries under 8. It only got 2-5.
And that was a bet on Penrith's ability to keep that close. Not really a bet against the Bunnies. We believe in the Bunnies. They're a good team. But we've said all year, Penrith are better than you think. There
Yep.
could be some money to be made on Penrith in the final few
Definitely.
weeks.
And then we gave you guys what you wanted and something to enjoy the Monday night game, which was probably one of the worst Monday night games of the season.
As we predicted.
You're not going to watch that by yourself without having a bit of coin on it, and why not, pay for your dinner as well while you're at it.
And that was another comfortable best bet win. I don't think we even had a close win, really. We won
No.
6 in a row, and that's an active winning streak. We're still alive with 6 in a row, so absolutely bouncing back.
Bam.
It was a great weekend. We also had the pleasure and honour of going to Dylan and Kendall's engagement party.
Great
was
night.
fun.
Great night. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I think, how'd you find the night, mate?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, it was an excellent night.
You didn't step on any toes?
Didn't step on any toes. I
Yeah.
tried to be as careful as I
Friendly to
could.
the family?
I'm always friendly to everyone.
Didn't hit on any of the wrong people?
Didn't hit on any of the wrong people. Didn't get
That's good.
absurdly drunk.
So you might just be a chance.
I might be a chance. I'm in with a chance.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, because I know Dylan's a big fan of the pod. What if you were to offer your services as MC for the evening? That could get you an invite to the wedding. Yeah. So I think
I
Alex
don't
would
know.
be keen. We'll talk about that a bit
Yeah,
more.
we'll see how we go anyway.
Dylan,
But I
free,
know,
and he was willing to do it for free as well.
I know
You can get
Dylan
invited.
appreciated our engagement card. Posted that on the page. If you haven't seen that, check it out. We put a lot of time and effort into that one, as you can probably tell by the photo.
And all the best to those 2 beautiful people. And I know that
Power couple.
Kendall can't get enough of the pod. She makes Dylan listen every week. Dylan's like, come on, can I just listen to some music? And Kendall's like, not until we finish the whole pod.
Respect.
Yeah, respect. Kendall.
You got to live and breathe the pod.
Yep. And, what do we always say? What do we say every week?
We got to give the people.
What do we give them, though?
Give the people what they want.
It's been a long time. Oh, it's been a long time, man.
It's been a long time since we've been in the studio.
It has been.
We've done quite a few road shows.
Yes.
It's been busy time doing
We
deals.
have been busy, yeah.
New segments, trying to... We're not resting on our laurels. We're trying to add to our craft.
Yep.
And really produce the best product that we can for you guys.
We try. The
yeah.
few pods have been recorded in a hot car.
Yeah.
The phone nearly overheating.
Sweaty, itchy.
Yeah. But now we are in the comfort of the studio, air conditioned. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Getting comfy.
Sweaty and itchy. That's like when Dwayne got home from Bali.
Yep. True.
Enough about that. But so hopefully the sound quality's better. It's nice to be back in the comfortable studio. We can think a bit clearer.
Yeah.
And we've got, dare say, the most best bets of any round in the season.
Woo!
We said a few weeks ago we're seeing the ball well. I know we had one horror show of a round, but other than that, we've actually been killing it every week. And this is the time where you cash in, where we know enough about the teams, we know what teams are capable of,
And you're getting down to the nitty-gritty end of the season where there's some teams that have absolutely nothing to play for, other teams that are fighting to make the 8, make top 4, top 2, so there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts going on.
Some teams getting healthy and some teams that are a mash unit.
Yep, absolutely. It's just getting to that time of the season. A lot more injuries, 21 rounds down, the injuries are starting to take their toll. And I think we've been bang on the money with some of the teams that we've said might struggle towards the end of the season. So
absolutely, and I think it's getting to that time in the pod to start breaking down the games.
Let's do it. We'll start up with Manly hosting the Rabbitohs. Now this one is sitting at around pick'em, but if you shop around, you can get plus 1.5 on each team. The total sitting at around 39.5 to 40.5.
Yeah, and I saw the odds, had my eye on this a few days ago, and saw that it was at Pickham, and I just was cautious. It seemed too good to be true. Like, to me, the Rabbitohs are one of the top 3 teams in the comp. I think, I said this last week, that there's probably like a power 5, but we've also said the Brisbane probably isn't as good as everyone thinks, and that was proven last week. And we should probably say we've bet against Brisbane most rounds.
Yes.
Especially since Origin. And finally, the round we didn't play against them,
Of course.
They fell to pieces. But look, I don't think Brisbane can win the comp, to be honest.
I agree.
But there's 3 teams that absolutely can, and that are the front runners right now, and that's the Cows, the Roosters, and the Bunnies. Now, the Bunnies...
I'd like to add the Dogs in there.
And the Dogs... Yeah, look,
they're
absolutely
fourth.
right.
They're fourth,
they are.
in my opinion.
I agree with you there. And we'll get to the Dogs in the very next game. But the Bunnies are fully healthy now. Let's not take anything away from them for only winning by 4 on Sunday Arvo, because Panthers were a desperate side, and Panthers are a better side than people realise. The Bunnies, GI's looking refreshed. They've had injuries all year with guys like Sutton, Stewart, Reynolds, and now they're healthy. Manly, I know that they've cashed tickets for punters in the last couple of weeks with surprise wins in New Zealand and against Brisbane, but they beat a New Zealand team in a game where Johnson broke his ankle.
Yes.
And they beat a Broncos team that was probably a bit overrated. And let's not forget that Manly in that New Zealand game lost about 3 key players to injury, guys like Tom Simons.
And let's not remember that the Warriors lost, obviously a couple key players as well, and that was 6-all at half time. So,
So we got a Manly team that people probably don't realise isn't that great. Now, it's a good backline, and playing at Brookvale, they're always going to give themselves a chance. But this game should not be Pickham. As you said, you can get Rabbits plus 1.5. That's crazy. I thought something funny about this game, something we don't know. I waited till the team list came out. They came out about an hour ago. We checked, and there's no. This is just a great
surprises
bet.
for us. Yeah.
The Rabbits are winning this game, and it's a great price, and that's a great best bet. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. Yep. And we spoke about this at length before the pod. We're back in the studio, so we've had a bit of time to discuss.
Yep.
This is wrong. We're taking the Rabbits plus 1.5, and on top of that, I think we need to look at some of the other sort of ins and outs of this game, because I really like the Rabbits in this game. They're not losing it. They've got the Sharks hot on their heels now for a top 4 spot.
Yeah, that's right.
They need this.
And they've got a tough run home. They've got Brisbane, and they've got the Roosters still to come.
The Rabbits, Roosters, Broncos, Bulldogs, Cowboys, they all play each other in those sort of last 4 or 5 rounds. So this is going to be a rough run home.
This is the kind of game that if you can't win this, you might not finish top 4. So
correct. Yep.
Yeah.
I can find the Rabbits points total over or under 19.5. I think they're blowing out Manly in this game. I don't think it's a contest. I think they're getting well over 20.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 teams have played a lot of close games last few years. They've been pretty fierce rivals. But Manly's kind of on the back 9 here. They're not quite the same team. The Rabbits, absolutely ready to repeat. It's a great full-strength side with a kicker that basically doesn't miss. 19.5 is quite a low total. And I think Manly's got a few weapons in the back line. They potentially could put on a couple tries. So I don't want to play Manly under as much as I'd prefer to play Rabbits over.
Yep.
So there's 2 best bets, I'd say.
Agreed. 2 on that one. And the second Friday night game, we got the Broncos hosting the Bulldogs. This line sitting about 7.5 to 8. And the total sitting at 40 points to 41.
And I think this line's just too high again. Wasn't that Bulldogs Roosters game a crazy game last Friday night?
Craziest game. I think that was possibly the best game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched it, I think the Roosters shot out to a 22-0 lead, and I was just thinking to myself, can anyone beat the Roosters this year? Like, they are just so clinical. They just make meters so easily. It's 10 or 15 meters every tackle, and they're changing the angle and swinging it 2 or 3 passes out wide. Guys like Rhea Hargraves, Cordner, Guerra, hitting the line at angles, and if they're not breaking the line, they're bending the line. And then, guys like Maloney can throw dummies. Tuivasa-Sheck in space. I mean, he is
a monster.
Insane. Try and remind me to talk about him later, because he is absolutely electric right now. There's no one more enjoyable to watch.
And that's why they've got the specials up for the Warriors to make the 8 next year, because they will.
Yeah, they're going to have a good team. But my point is that it was some effort by the Dogs to come back against that Roosters team and to put on 28 straight. It really was. And they weren't fully healthy either.
Nope.
And I thought 50 was on the cards, like 50-0. They came back, and then it was anyone's game right at the end. I know the Roosters scored the last 3 tries of the game. One was in the final kind of 30 seconds.
Yes.
But really, it was just an incredible finish by 2 absolute contenders. They shouldn't be getting 8 points here. They've got a better side than Brisbane. I know that Brisbane's going to come out even more determined this week to bounce back. But the fact is, the Bulldogs, just probably a slightly better team, getting healthy, albeit without Reynolds, but you bring in Mbai.
Yep.
And I think that's what they might be saying on Friday night.
Can we just say how angry you would be if you took the Bulldogs plus 10 last week and you're sitting there with your ticket and they're down 4, 30 seconds left, they've got the ball, and then, bam, mistake.
Yeah, and that's
in
brutal.
for a try under the sticks.
And doesn't that just go to show you, like, how hard it is to correctly win against the line in this league? Because so many games come down to one bounce of a ball or one play or the final play, as we've seen this
many
year.
times before.
So you just can't be on the right side every single game.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're picking a huge sample size. And I mean, we've given out over 160 best bets since we started, and we still haven't lost 60 yet.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable stuff. So look,
Absolutely.
we're definitely taking that.
We love the Dogs. We love the Dogs.
Yep. It's a good spot, and revenge spot too, because the Dogs actually lost to the Broncos. I think it was the week after Origin 3, when you would have thought Brisbane would be let down there.
And, I mean, look, the Dogs, lost to a really good Roosters team. I think if they won that game, if they ended up pulling that win off this line, would be around the 6 or possibly even less.
Yeah, definitely lower.
It seems to me that people still are pretty high on the Broncos, judging by this line. And judging by the Rabbitohs-Manly line as well, because that's sitting where it is, people are sort of thinking, well, if Manly can beat this awesome Broncos team, then they're a red-hot shot against the Rabbits. Look, I really think the Bulldogs are a good chance in this game. I think I'm going to tip them in the tipping comp. I'll tell you now, I'm picking them to win this game outright.
I think the Dogs win this game as well.
Now, I think we almost want to delve a little bit deeper here.
Well, just one more thing I'll say. Grab the 8 now, because I've seen 7.5s and I've seen 6.5s, and I think that this game will be under 6 by kickoff, because I think the sharp bettors out there, we think the Bulldogs will win. You can grab 8. It's just too many points.
Yep.
But I know what you're saying. We need to look at the team totals as well. We like it for the same reasons.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Broncos being 8-point favourites, and with a relatively high total sitting at over 40 points, you can grab the Broncos to go under 24.5. Traditionally high-scoring team, obviously. I think the Bulldogs are going to shut them down in this game. They've got really, really good defense, and they're going to be smarting after letting in a shitload of points last week.
38 points last week. Like, a contender doesn't do that. Yeah, you're right. But on the other hand, Broncos will come out and try and put in a good defensive effort. But the total's probably just a bit too low for the Doggies. Hodgkinson doesn't really miss kicks. Plenty of attacking weapons. They welcome back Curtis Rona. They welcome back Aiden Tolman, who's going to add a bit more grunt to the pack. I mean, David Clemmer is one of the best front rowers going around in the comp, and he's on the bench on this Dogs team. That's just how loaded they are. You've got both Morris brothers. And that total under 16 points. Well, it's sitting at 15.5.
Yep.
So 16 will win that bet. We've got to play over the Dogs total, don't we?
Definitely. We've got to play over 15.5 for the Dogs. And do we just want to say, every single site, and that's why we've stressed to get multiple sites, every site's going to have a different total, a different line, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So let me just say, when you're looking for the Bulldogs over the total points, sift around through your sites, see where you can find the lowest total, and play the Bulldogs over. Then hop around your sites, see where you can find the highest game total that you possibly can, scroll down through and play the Broncos under on that site. Because that's where you're going to get the value.
And it can vary by 1 or 2 points, and half a point can mean all the difference.
Yep.
You might think, it's just half a point, but when you're making 160 best bets in a season, that's going to be a difference between 3 or 4 results for you. Which
you saw
significant money.
Yeah, you see last week the Bulldogs line was 10. But that fluctuated, I think, a little bit. If you shopped around, you could find 10.5, you could find 9.5, and that can be the difference between winning, losing, and pushing a bet. So
exactly right.
Make sure you shop around. But anyway, 3 best bets on that game. We'll run down them all at the end for you. Next up, we got the Warriors hosting the Dragons. This game's sitting at Pick'em. Do we want to remind everyone what Pick'em is?
So Pick'em just means a line of 0. There is no favourite. Both teams considered a 50-50 chance to win. We call it Pick'em because that's all you got to do is pick who's going to win the game.
Bam, there you go. Betting 101. Total sitting at a low 36.5.
And I love the Dragons in this spot. They They finally snapped the 6-game losing streak on the weekend by smashing the Knights. Another game of runs. I think they were up 12-0, then they were down 22-12, and then they won, 40-odd to 22.
Something, 26, yeah.
Yeah, and they're finally welcoming back Trent Merrin. He's got to be nice and refreshed after his hiatus.
He's your favourite. You've been waiting for him to come back and play for weeks and weeks now.
I still think he might be the best lock forward in the comp. They've gotten a bit healthier in the last few weeks, as we said. We waited for them to get guys back before we wanted to play them. Now the Warriors, they tried hard, and that's why we didn't go against them last week, because we knew it would be a huge effort by them last week against the Sharkies. Mm-hmm. We've seen that huge effort, and it still wasn't enough. I mean, where do they go from here? They're missing Hoffman as well, who's their best forward. This game actually isn't in Auckland either, worth noting. It's in Wellington. So probably not as much of a fortress for them either. I mean, is there any belief that they can still hang on into the 8? I really think this is a team kind of being ready to be put to bed.
Yes,
and the Dragons are a side that absolutely has top 8 aspirations. I know they lost a few games, but they were very beat up. Now they're healthy again. There's a team that can make a little bit of noise in the finals. So I love the Dragons at pick here.
Yep, me too. And let's run through some betting theory real quick, because there's 2 really simple theories that apply to this game. Firstly, the injured player theory. Now, this one states that when a team loses a very, very important player due to injury or suspension, etc., the team does lift the next week and put in a gutsy performance, and then there is a bit of a letdown spot the week after, and that is this week with the Warriors.
Yep.
Next up, we've got the losing streak or the winning streak theory. Now, this one states that when the team's on a big losing streak, 3 or 4 games or more, and then they snap that losing streak, they often come in the next game and win. And the same is the case for a team on a big, big winning streak. They lose a game, it's a bit of a letdown, the run's over, and then they have a poor performance the next week. So all the stars are aligning for this game to be a Dragons win. I love the Dragons at pick. It's going to be pissing down rain in New Zealand over the weekend. So I want to take the Warriors under some sort of their total. We can find under 3.5 tries for the Warriors. I think that is the best bet.
Yeah, let's not forget that the Dragons in the first kind of 15 weeks of the season, probably the first 12 weeks of the season, was the best defensive team in the comp. That was when they were healthy, and they're healthy again. So Warriors under 3.5 with no Magic Johnson, nowhere to turn really. It's going to be tough final few weeks of the season for them. I love both those best bets.
Bam. 2 for that game. They're starting to add up, aren't they?
Yeah, that's already 7.
7 in the first 3 games.
We only had 3 games.
It's going to be a fun weekend. All right, Sharks hosting the Cows. Now you can get the Cows at 3.5 to 4.5 point favourites. Total sitting at 40.5 to 42.
And, we've said all season that there's a few things we don't lay too often. And we certainly, I don't know if we want to go into that too much.
No, we probably don't want to go into it an awful lot. There is one thing that we don't like laying, and that's big points.
Yeah, we don't lay big points. We rarely even lay points. In fact, I was thinking about this season, when we have laid points, we've probably just about won every time. Because when we are prepared to lay points, it's a good side.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, the meaning of lay, that is minus. That's the handicap. So in this case, Cows minus 3.5 means they're going to have to win by more than 3.5, so 4 or more to win the bet. And I think they will. My reasons for it, although I've been saying the Sharkies are undervalued and the Sharkies are good, the Sharkies have snuck home in a few games, and now I think the secret's out that they're a decent team. And I actually think they could be overvalued now. I think they're getting a little bit of kind of sleeper buzz as being a contender.
The media's hyping them up as being a top 4 team. They're sitting at 5th at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buzz around them, and you're right, they have one. This is what we talk
about with betting being fluid. Like the Sharkies was so underrated that now they've sort of become famous for being underrated to the point where now they might be slightly overrated.
Yep.
And the reason I'm saying that is because although they've been winning, they've obviously dropped the Fafita brothers and they've dropped Luke Lewis. And when teams are winning and missing good players, the public kind of forgets. Mm-hmm. The public will notice if a team's losing and they'll say, oh yeah, it's because those guys are out. But when a team is winning without star players, the public kind of turns a blind eye to it.
Yep.
But it does make a difference. This is not a full-strength Shark team. Now let's compare that to the Cows that are full strength.
Yeah.
Said it last week.
Make no mistake, Thurston will be playing.
Yes, and you've got a few factors here. You've got revenge factor. Thurston, of course, sat out in Townsville. The Cows were up 18-0, and they let it slip. And that was the only game they've lost in the last...
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
In the last,
it's been a long time.
18 rounds, something like that. That's the only game they lost. And I think Thurston wasn't too happy about sitting that one out. And we've also got... So they want to, really put in a good performance for that and get some revenge. And we've also got the Cows off of a terrible first half against the Raiders.
Yep.
And when you're a really good team, and let's take the Cows result against the Raiders, what did they win?
Very unconvincing win. It was 32-24. Yeah.
They're not going to come out from that and say, all fat, drunk and happy and say, we won again. They're going to say there's a lot of room for improvement. We can't be spotting teams 18-point leads.
Yep.
So they're actually going to come out really determined, I think. This is a team that, as I said before, we've already spoken about the Bunnies. The Cows are right up there too. All across the park, incredible forwards. Lachlan Coope playing so well, and of course Morgan and JT.
Yeah.
Any team that's got JT is just always just about going to be the favourite to win that game.
Definitely.
So 3.5 is a very cheap total, if you ask me, or a total amount of points to lay.
Cheap, very cheap price. I think we take the 3.5. I think this line should be up towards the 6, towards a converted try. So I think this is cheap points. If you sort of put this Cows team, which is the same team that they've had for a number of weeks now, and you take the Sharkies, the team that they have now, and pull it back, a few weeks where the Sharks were still, underrated, flying under the radar a little bit. This line is over a converted try. So I think we're catching it at a good spot. Cows with an unconvincing win last week. Didn't really impress anyone, so I think we lay the 3.5. And I think also it is a high total in this one. So I think, Sharkies, they do have some good defense, so I'm tentative to sort of go over the total with the Cows. They need to score 24 or more points to win that bet. But I don't see the Sharks putting on an awful lot of points here. I think the Cows come up with a dominant performance. We can take the Cows under 20 points. What do you reckon? Yeah,
if the Sharks have any hope in this game, it's taking it to the grindhouse. It's literally how they've won every single week the last 4 weeks, is get it into a grind, win ugly, and just get it close and give yourself a chance. And that's what they'll try to do. They're a stone-cold under team. You love playing under in their games because they don't score too many, they don't have a good attack, but they have a really good defence. Now, I don't want to play under the total here because I think the Cows could easily, put on 5 tries.
As we've seen, many
but
weeks
I do,
before.
I love what you're saying there. Let's play the Sharkies under 20 points.
Sounds good to me.
And what about the Cows' try line to go over?
I mean, it's sitting at 3.5 tries. Look, I think it's certainly worth a look. I think the Cows are going over that 3.5 tries. We've seen in the last few weeks they can just put on points in spurts. But I think they sort of let it slip a little bit against the Raiders. They came out flat-footed, and really they piled on 32 points in the span of 42 minutes essentially in the second half and the last try of the first half. So, I mean, I think they're going to come out with a bit better attitude in the first half here. I think they score at least a couple tries, 2 or 3 tries, and they always finish strong. So, I think, for them to score 4 tries in this game, it's a winner for me.
Not asking too much. Geez, that's halfway through the games, and how many best bets is that? I think that's 8.
Oh, no.
Around about 8 best bets. I've hit a bit of a wall, I tell you. We had a massive KFC feed.
Yeah, I feel a little bit.
It's Tuesday night. We're bringing it to you early this week. Just giving it to you a bit early.
Speaking of promotions, KFC obviously does have the 9 pieces of chicken for $9.95 on a Tuesday.
We've actually
great promo.
We've almost got too many sponsors. Like, I don't even know if we need KFC to sponsor us. But look, KFC, if you're listening. We're big fans of... We cannot get enough of that hot and spicy chicken.
If you are loyal supporters of the pod, we reciprocate because we are loyal supporters of the KFC. And
it tastes so good. You do feel sick afterwards, but it's worth it.
I've got the day off tomorrow, so I can lie in bed for a little while. Be fat, drunk and happy.
Until next week. Before we get into the rest of the round, let's just hear from another one of our loyal sponsors.
Summer bodies are made in the winter. Find Fsanity on Instagram today and train Fsane or stay the same.
Yeah, good on you, Evo. And exciting news from Fsanity, actually. He Follow his page on Facebook. You can find it under Ev Sanity. Now he does his live DJing, obviously, from the comfort of his own home.
On Twitcasting?
On Twitcasting. Apparently it's this new thing. We're not quite up with the technology yet that the kids use, but he got featured as the, I guess what would you call it? The video of the day, I guess, on Twitcasting's Instagram page. So he had over 300 people listening to his live DJ set.
From around the world.
All around the world, getting hit up by beautiful ladies over in South America and stuff.
Is he single at the moment?
He is.
Is he single this week?
Yeah.
It
flip-flops so much.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to keep up.
But hit him up. Always worth a shot.
Yeah, if you're a dude looking for a good DJ set, plays all sorts of stuff, trance, house.
Yep.
I think he likes his trap. He even throws some R&B, hip hop in there. So hop on there and have a listen.
He drops bangers, and he's a PT as well. He can make you sweat.
Yeah, that's for sure. What do we got next up? Should we jump back into the round?
Yeah, let's get back into it.
Yeah.
We got Eels Panthers.
Eels hosting the Panthers. Now the Panthers laying 4 to 4.5 points, and the total sitting at 43.5 to 44.5.
Now I've looked at the ladder. I think that this Sean Johnson injury that we spoke about earlier has just given some new life into a few of the teams in the bottom 8, because I don't think the Warriors can keep that top 8 spot. And probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, people would have said the top 8 was pretty much decided. But now I think the Dragons really believe they can make it. I think the Raiders are still in with a shot, and I think Panthers, they're going to have to win their final 5 games, but they're all winnable games. The Panthers are playing the Eels this week. They finish with the Raiders
again.
They get the Knights. They get the Dragons. And
I can't remember what the last one is.
They get the Titans as well. Or something like that.
Some guff run home.
They're literally all winnable games. Oh, no, actually, I'll tell you who the Panthers play. They play the Warriors as well, and that's without Johnson. So all winnable games, and they're getting Moylan back. He hasn't been named this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted in. This game is not in Western Sydney, it's in Darwin. I just wonder, do the Eels get much motivation getting on a plane, going out to Darwin to play? Their season's over.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're fighting to not get the wooden spoon, but in front of a small crowd, I just don't know if they're motivated. Whereas Penrith has to believe. Penrith really could have beaten the Bunnies.
Yes, yeah. They'll get a lot of confidence from that.
Actually, that reminds me, you want to talk about our multi that we had?
Yeah. Absolutely. So the TryPod, we put our heads together and we came up with a gig multi.
Yeah, your head's a fair bit bigger than mine.
it's a little bit bigger. I did get a haircut lately, which I think helps the shape. Otherwise, once it gets long and it turns afro, it looks a lot bigger than normal. It's almost like a cartoon character, like a bobblehead almost.
It's big enough.
Yeah. So we started off with the Roosters, who, we think are the best team in the comp on Friday night.
Yeah.
We were really confident in the Tigers. We took them.
Outright win, yeah.
Outright win there.
Sharkies
then
over
we took the
defeated
Sharkies.
Warriors.
And then we had a bit of a nervous sweat on the last two legs, which were the Cowboys and
Cows were
the
never in doubt,
Rabbitohs. Yeah, well, they were 18-0 down.
I was kind of saying you should cash out. Something that people need to consider, and this is, again, us taking advantage of promos, was the Sportsbet multi-promo where if you only lose one leg, money back. So, that's an advantage. When you've got a couple of favourites and you trust in your ability to pick winners, you can either win a multi every week or quite often get your money back.
Yep.
And we've been able to do that.
We've put on a multi on the AFL and the NRL in the last 5 or 6 weeks. We have never gotten less than our money back.
Yep.
So it's a good promo. Yeah.
Yeah. So we knew that we at least had 100 in the bank, but I said, in fact, my exact words were, when the Panthers are up 12-6, half an hour into the game, you're going to be feeling slightly nervous.
Yeah.
And that's exactly was the score. In fact, the Panthers were up 12-0 earlier than that. And even
actually, in your text it said then it'll be 12-all and you'll be sweating still. Yeah. And it was 12-all.
Yeah.
And we call ourselves the Oracle, but in that case you were.
That was quite prophetic.
Yep.
And they almost could have won, the Panthers, and that wasn't a huge surprise to us, but it worked out perfectly, really.
And we have been big proponents that the cash-out system is bullshit. It rips you off 99% of the time, so we said, let's just let it ride. And our good friend Scatbat actually told us, did he tell us to let it ride? I think he might have told us to cash out.
No, I think he said cash out.
That's right.
Guys, you want to use everything available to you, every option you have. Check it out, because that's how you can make the most money. The cash out option, it sounds good, but the fact is it's actually been set up to give them an advantage. Quite often you're getting ripped off, And if you're cashing out of every multi and you think, oh, I don't often win multis, now I can cash out. But the fact is, you're kind of losing out on the money you've already won.
Yeah,
so you're
exactly.
paying a premium to cash out. You're probably better off not getting money every time, but letting those few that do
Exactly.
win
And if you
go
are
away.
really, really nervous about your fifth leg or your fourth leg in your multi, 99% of the time, the better option will be just to hedge back, shop around, find the best line on the other team, and just bet it that way.
And there are exceptions. There are times when the cash out can actually be in your favour, and it gets a bit complicated. My best advice I can give you is hit us up. If you've got a multi that's still alive and you're not sure, should I cash out, shouldn't I? Post it on our page. We're happy to give people advice. We can tell you what's going to be smarter to do, or different game situations where you might look to do that.
Yeah, and the cash out often involves a little bit of maths, and we're good with numbers, so hit us up.
That's it.
But back to the game anyway. It's in unfamiliar territory. The Eels obviously coming off a disappointing Monday night performance. And the Panthers, they're still missing a few attacking weapons, and they did put up some solid defence against a really red-hot Rabbitohs team. This total just seems too high to me. You can get as high as 44.5, and as I was saying, as we saw on Monday night, Titans and Eels, comedy of errors, didn't even come close to the posted total. And this week, I think it's slightly higher. It's half a point higher that you can grab. Panthers, good defensive side, not much going on in attack, and I think this is a week where the Panthers really, really need this game. There's still mathematically a chance of making the 8. When there's a really big game on the line, we always like to look to the under.
Yeah, Panthers, very good defensive side, missing Peter Wallace, missing Moylan, missing Mateni Zalesniak, Farah, Idris, you name it, a lot of attacking weapons. So it's obvious thing is to go under. Would look to the Panthers. I think they will win the game, but the Eels actually welcome back a couple of quality players like Corey Norman and Hopewadi. So I think they're going to be in the game as well. They'll have a decent chance. They're a bit underrated at this point. You're not going to get value betting against the Eels because everyone knows that they're probably one of the worst teams in the comp. So I don't like the side, but I'm with you. Yeah, 44.5 is too high for a game involving the Panthers, really. So take under the total there.
Take under the total on the Eels and the Panthers. Next up, we got the Storm hosting the Titans. Now this line hovering around 14.5, and you can get as high as 16, and the total 42 to 43.5.
Yeah, and I was looking at the team list for this, and I mean the Storm, the forward pack isn't all that great. You've got Cronk and you've got Smith, but again they're a bit fatigued from another epic Origin series. The team can't go that far without Slater. Just not a great team, and they got found out last week against the Tigers. I know that they'll be up for a better performance this week. But I think the Titans, now they've gotten healthy. We took the Titans against the Brisbane 2 weeks ago when they were back and healthy, and we got burned there.
But the line was sitting around the sort of same, around that 16 mark as well.
Yes, it was, and Brisbane's a better team than the Storm are. We loved that game when they were 16 then. And then the Titans come through and won, and they won on Monday night without Nate Miles. And now
fairly impressive, actually.
Yeah, this team is actually a bit better than everyone realises. We've said this. I mean, obviously they missed the majority of the season without Greg Bird. We've said this for quite a few weeks that there's going to come a time when we can make some money on the Titans. This is way too many points. So this is a great best bet for me. Take the Titans plus 16. What else? I mean,
totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
It's
I think
high try line.
It is, yeah. I think people have been flying a bit too high on the Storm recently. And a loss to the Tigers, I don't think people will take too much notice of it. They won a few games before then. But the Titans, no one wants to bet on the Titans. No one's rushing out to play them. So I think this line may even climb even higher. But I mean, the line's so high, you can get the Titans total points over 12. So I mean, all they need to do is score 2 converted tries and you get your money back.
Yeah, and Caesar's a really good kicker.
Yeah, and of course the one time that we bet on the Titans to get over 12 points was the last time against the Broncos, and they obviously went scoreless. But I don't think
it's not going to happen again.
It's not going to happen again. No. So I think we go the Titans over the 12 points. And I mean, the line's sitting so high as well. The Storm has to have a high total as well for their points. I'm looking at this at the moment. You can go over under the points of 30.5, or you can go over under the try line of 5.5. What do you reckon? What do you reckon is to go
pretty
there?
Much the same thing. Cameron Smith, not a great kicker. Probably slightly better is to take under 5.5 tries, because if it is a bit of a closer game, they could take the 2 in a couple of tight spots. Honestly, I'm on upset alert here. I think the Titans can win this game. I really believe in that side.
You're crazy.
I just think the Titans have been terrible for the last 5 years, and the Storm have been kind of the benchmark. And so it's kind of means something to them to go down into Melbourne and to win a game like this in what's been a horrendous season.
Yep.
This would be kind of a highlight for them, you know?
Almost like their grand final.
Yeah, and a bit of confidence after beating the Eels. Nothing to lose. They've honestly got a shot here. So that's my advice. And there's 3 more best bets in that game.
3 more. They are adding up. Next up, we got the Knights. Knights hosting the Roosters. This line's sitting at about 16 to 16.5 points. Roosters obviously favoured, and the total sitting at 44.5 to 46.
Well, what do you reckon, mate? What do you reckon about this game?
I reckon it's look. We've been high on the Knights all year, and I think it's come time for us to say that the Knights may not be as good as we think. So, I mean, it is a really, really high line, 16.5 points. I don't think I'm confident enough to take the Knights in this scenario, even though it is a lot of points, because the Roosters, they are the best team in the comp. I think they're on another level. But at the same time, you know what we say, we hate laying big points. I think this has got stay away written all over it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Dumb Cunny Dow's back, so they lost Sam Moa to a wrist injury, but there's such a loaded team. Oh, it's absolutely a stacked side, and this is just about full strength. I think I've made this point once or twice before, but guys like Kane Evans, did you see that shot he put on Cassiano on Friday night? It's an absolute monster.
Bring back the shoulder charge.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a shame that we've
It's good. He didn't get a week for that. I reckon it's good.
It's too right. He shouldn't have. There's nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, collision.
You look at it. He didn't lead with his shoulder or anything. He had his hands sort of towards his body.
Hey, it's a grown man's game.
It's great for the game. Great for the game. I wish we could bring that back a little bit more.
And Joey Johns has tipped Kane Evans to make Origin the next couple of years. And I mean, he's like. Kane Evans might be the 15th best player on the Roosters, and he's a future Origin player. So they're just absolutely loaded. So it's something that we can't lay. One of the many things we cannot lay is double-digit points. And what I was going to say about Tuivasa-Sheck, he's absolutely quicksilver. Did you see some of the slow-mo highlights of him on Friday night? Just leaves people for dead. When he puts his foot in the ground like that, he can change direction like you wouldn't believe. I mean, if I was a Roosters fan watching him, it's kind of like... let's say you're dating a girl that's just like crazy hot, just ridiculously hot, like phenomenal kind of body, and but you know she's gonna leave. Like that
she's too good for you.
Yeah, she's definitely too good for you. Like within the next few weeks, she's gone.
Okay.
So then, like every time you have like a good experience with her, you like it's kind of bittersweet because you know like you've got to just enjoy it while it lasts, but you know that it won't last forever, and that's I think. How all Roosters fans feel every time Tuivasa-Sheck just cuts the opposition to shreds.
Yeah, and you know she's going to leave you for the most fun, awesome guy ever.
Yeah.
That's going to be doing really well for himself probably. Next year, and she's just going to have a great time with him and that sort of thing. You probably are more sad than you are. Excited. I guess you get to treasure every sort of moment.
But hey, they can still win a title this year with him. And that has to be their focus.
Then the Warriors are going to be the most entertaining team in the comp next year.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. They've had a disappointing year this year,
I
think. But look, no plays from me on this game.
Agree.
You said that we might have to admit the Knights aren't as good as we thought. I won't go that far because they've had too many injuries to key players, and Mullen's out now for the season.
Well,
Nuade's out.
That's the thing. They have been stung by injuries all year long, and they just have never gotten going.
Yeah.
And it's just we were waiting and waiting and waiting for them to get healthy.
There's still a couple of good players in this team. Could they, keep it close? Yeah, maybe they could. Could the Roosters win by 30? Definitely. Sure. So we're not laying the points. Roosters almost certainly win. They're a team you could chuck in your multi.
Yes.
If you did a multiple game.
Agreed. And then the thing is, you chuck the rabbits in there, you chuck the bulldogs in there, you chuck the dragons in there, you chuck the cows in there, and then those 4 come off, and all you got left is the Roosters, and then you're sitting pretty.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's not often we can say we're sitting pretty.
No, never. Moving on to the Monday night game, a little bit more of an entertaining one for you this week. We've got the Raiders hosting the Tigers. The Raiders laying 6 to 6.5 points, and the total sitting at 43.5 to 44.
And checked out the team list, and I thought, the Tigers actually looking pretty good, other than missing Marty Tapau. The Raiders missing Soliola. Just not the best roster in the comp. They've seemed to found a way to get a lot of results this year.
Mm-hmm.
But had to lean to the Tigers until got inside word from our Tigers expert.
Yep.
Our man with his finger on the pulse.
Yep.
In Balmain, Pete Evans.
Shout out to Pete Evans.
Yeah, shout out Pete.
Sometimes confused with the chef, but this guy is much more, I guess, honest. He's very upfront. He won't go sneaking around, passing out bad advice. He only gives out good advice that'll help us.
Does Pete Evans, the chef, do that?
Yeah. He gave out those shitty diets that didn't have any nutritional benefit behind them at all, and then people are trying to sue him and take his book off the shelves.
I didn't get that reference at all.
Okay, no, that's all right.
Fair enough.
Mate, when you're my size, you got to watch your diet,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
And then I actually tried Pete Evans' diet for a little bit, and look where that got me.
Well, that's why I got the coleslaw with our 9 pieces of chicken.
I think it was
tonight.
a good idea.
Yeah.
So we shared 9 pieces of chicken, but we ate some coleslaw.
I mean, summer bodies are made in the winter. That's what a wise and original person once said to me.
It's like the really fat people that go to McDonald's and order 2 Big Mac meals, but get the Diet Coke. Yeah. That makes them feel a little bit better about themselves. Yeah. Anyway.
You are a bit like that. And I don't know if we even told people what Pete said, but Pete told us
yes, we did.
that Tedesco, although he's been named, and this is Tedesco who I actually was thinking I'd love to just talk about Tedesco and say how well he's playing.
Yes.
He's sensational. He is such a dangerous ball player, such a dangerous runner of the ball, but throws ridiculously good passes, perfectly timed passes, chimes in the back line as good as anyone else in the comp. And he was so good
that he scored on Friday night. I think he left Corabetti for dead.
Yeah.
He was in the centre position, takes the ball, still got the winger outside him and just burns him for pace.
I love his work that he did
to
set the wingers up as well, where he just threatens the defence, freezes them because they have to respect the run, and then he can throw a perfectly timed pass.
Yeah.
But there's rumours that he was seen in the hotel on the weekend in a moon boot.
And only Pete Evans would know this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we got a few good insiders on our side.
And that's important. That makes a huge difference, because I thought the Tigers can win this game, but now you look at it again. Without Tedesco, without Tapau, down in Canberra, you've kind of got to respect the line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say wait and see, because I'm just not sure what kind of funny business is going on here, why he's been named, but Pete said there's rumours he could be out for the season. Let's just wait until we know on the weekend. If we find out he's actually all right, he's going to play, we might have a play for you on the Tigers. If not, probably going to have to leave his side alone. Now, regardless of whether Tedesco plays, I think the Tigers are actually an underrated defensive side. The Raiders just seem to find a way to put up points every single weekend.
Yes.
And I know they've burned us more than a few times, but I'm still looking at under 4.5 total tries, because I feel like the Tigers, with a bit of confidence, can make this an arm wrestle. 4.5 tries is quite a high try line.
I agree, and the Raiders have been having many a high-scoring contest lately. And as we said, when did we say this? We broke the news 10, 15 weeks ago. The Tigers were focusing on D, and they didn't care what happened during the season, but they were going to become a great defensive side, because all teams that win the premiership are great defensive sides. And we saw it's finally sort of coming together, beating the Storm last week. Even though we believe the Storm are slightly underrated. But I think, Raiders to score 5 tries here, they hang the totals a little bit higher in these Raiders games, but I think they're not scoring 5 or more tries. I think that's the best bet for me as well for the Monday night game.
Yeah, the Tigers have been focusing on D.
Love the D.
But they've also been copping a fair bit of D in previous weeks, but I think now that Farah's back, he can lead them around the park, they can keep it close. Mate, that was our 15th best bet for the round.
Lord!
I apologise, it's been a long pod, but we had 15 best bets to get through, so I hope people got a lot of info out of this pod. Look, we'll wrap it up right now. We'll better give you all 15 best bets, but first we've got to hear from another one of our loyal sponsors.
With Ladbrokes Mega Margin, you can win up to $1 million every round of the NRL season. Simply pick the correct margin in 6 nominated games. Plus, cash-out options are available throughout the game. Mega Margin, exclusive to Ladbrokes. Bet better.
Yeah, Mega Margin's really cool. If you don't have Ladbrokes, you can win $1 million, and that's up for grabs every single round off just $1. Like, you're crazy not to chuck a couple bucks, couple different combinations on there. 6 of the 8 games, you just got to pick the margin.
But it's not the exact margin.
No, they're broken up into about 4-point kind of intervals.
Yep.
And we've given you an opinion on every single game this week, so if you can kind of use the info that the pod gives you, you can honestly have a shot at being a millionaire. And
Definitely.
You know,
and I mean, you chuck in, whatever you guys throw on a bet, $20, $50, you set aside $1 or even, $10 if you want to play 10 different margins, and, you give yourself a decent chance. So
that's it.
And they've obviously got cash out options. If you're sitting, pretty at 5 out of 6 margins or even 4 out of 6, you can probably cash out. And I'm seeing it there for 50 grand, something like that. So certainly worth a few dollars of spare change that you find under your couch.
It's not something that you kind of expect to win, but it's something that's a bit of fun. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be life changing if you.
It's going to be a lot more fun than watching Powerballs come out of a machine.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah, we got a few people to thank, I think.
I was just thinking of Powerball, the machine with all the balls like rolling around. Does that remind you of like Sasquatch Festival? Or?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, except there's only 40.
Nah, probably, yeah. I was thinking, I think there is about 40.
Yeah.
So
that'd be like a tame. That'd be like stereo.
Runs with the first 2 days,
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, mate. I'll let you do the honours.
Yeah, no worries
15
at all.
best
So
bets.
let's run through them all. So we've got the Rabbits on Friday night plus 1.5 points. And we've also got the Rabbits team total over 19.5 points. Moving on to the second Friday night game, we got the Bulldogs plus 8. We've got the Broncos to go under 24.5 points. And we've got the Bulldogs to go over 15.5 points. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, we've got the Dragons at Pickham. And we've also got the Warriors to go under 3.5 tries in a wet and rainy affair. We've got the Cowboys minus 3.5 points on your Sunday afternoon game. The Sharks to go under 20 points. And the Cows over 3.5 tries. Now moving on to the Saturday night game, we got the Panthers and the Eels under 44.5 for the game total. Storm Titans, we've got the Titans plus 16 points. We've got the Titans over their team total of 12, and we've got the Storm under 5.5 tries. No play on the Knights Roosters, and that's the only game that we don't have a play on this week. We're crazy. And then we got the Raiders Tigers. We got the Raiders to go under their team total under their team try total of 4.5 tries.
Well done. I think you got your Saturday night and your Sunday over mixed up for one of the games, but I think people, you get the idea. That was 15 best bets.
We're crazy.
This is ridiculous.
Do you want to have a prediction how many we'll get right this week?
Mate, I think we're gonna get at least 11.
I think we're going double digits this week.
Honestly. We're just seeing the ball so well.
You got to spare $1,500, chuck $100 on each of our best bets, and I almost guarantee you'll make some money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So see how we go.
We're not going to lose 8 of them. We really like the slate this week. We also going to have best bets in the AFL through our AFL specialist Tom.
Yep.
And take on Tom. So check his post out.
Yeah, those should be up soon. We'll obviously share his post.
He lives and breathes. He's actually over in Europe at the moment. He was based in Finland, and he told us he was just finishing left, right, and centre. But he gets the AFL on demand and still catches every game. He's totally up to date with everyone and the form and the personnel. If you've got a question about AFL or any of the specials, hit him up on our page. He's only too happy to help. Just a really valued member of our team. Just works as hard as anybody.
Oh, definitely. If you've got a question about an Austrian bird, hit him up. He's more than happy to answer that as well.
Yeah. I'm keen to hear about this Austrian bird as well, Tom.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll talk later. As we've said, we're now affiliated, kind of partnered with William Hill.
Yep.
Now that means we've got opportunities with Tom Waterhouse,
Centrebet, and William Hill.
William Hill, former Sporting Bet.
And
We've got sign-up specials.
Yep.
Yeah, and Ladbrokes. Let's not forget Ladbrokes. So that's 4 different sites. If you don't have them, there's specials that are going begging. Mm-hmm. There's money to be made. There's better lines. And we've got sign-up specials for every single one of those sites.
And each and every one of them are going to be a lot better than you would get your sign-up specials than you would get just hopping onto the normal page.
Exactly.
Like Ladbrokes, I think you get $100 normally. If you click using our exclusive link, you'll get $250 bonus. So take advantage of those. Essentially a free $250 bet that you can use on one of ours. Bam, make that $500.
Crazy not to. Put your tip where your mouth is back this week.
It's back.
With Larger Than Life. Hashtag Larger Than Life Netty.
Yep.
He's defending his crown. He obviously cashed with Jason Day at $9 in the Canadian Open. That's the biggest winning leg we've ever had.
Hope he's doing all right after the engagement party on Saturday night. I know that he, I think he went all the way through the night. So I hope his head's going all right there.
Yeah, that just shows what he's prepared to do.
Commitment.
And he's got his work cut out from this week. We've got Jonesy taking him on. And Jonesy's, that's going to throw a spanner in the works, that's for sure. And we've got Nick Reed, who's another one. I think he's a connection through Tom.
Yeah, he's all the way over in Europe, actually partying with Tom at the moment. He's got Ned's bet slip through us or to us already because he sort of said, look, I'm going to be drunk essentially for the rest of the week, so he wanted to get it out of the way. But he's got some good bets in there, so he's
Isn't
sharp.
it cool how many fans we've got in Europe? Because of course we've got a couple other. We've got Dean and Jack in Europe as well. They're still over there. Putting up points left, right, and centre. And when you get a chance, check out the Eurolads link and check out the betting markets.
Hilarious banter on there.
Yeah, read some of the comments. If you love a bit of innuendo, a little bit of double entendres, a little bit of innuendo, then
if you like a little
you'll
double,
enjoy that. Yeah, and they're not going to be afraid to double someone. They have to. That's about everything we got. Look, it's been a long pod. Let's enough's enough. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But as we always like to sign off,
please
gamble
responsibly.